Coming up, we're going to give our review of Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet.
And in case you're wondering, no, Ralph did not break our set. We're just on the road. Hey everybody, welcome back to Eye to Eye, Disney Through Our Eyes. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Jessica.
And in this edition, we're going to be discussing the brand new movie, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. I know I gave you the full name, and that's not the actual name that they're advertising with, but hey, just for clarity's sake, this is the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, just called Ralph Breaks the Internet. It's a long name in and of itself.
It's a lot. Ralph Breaks the Internet it's a lot.
Well, here's the thing too, is that we watched so many trailers for this movie that I feel like we were very well informed coming into this movie.
That's the truth.
Do you feel like you saw way too much in trailers?
Yes.
Did it spoil some of it for you?
Oh, absolutely. I think if they had not told us that the Disney characters were going to be in there, and that was a surprise, that would have been the best surprise of the year.
I think they could have hid the Disney princesses thing.
That's what I mean.
But, you know, like seeing the Star Wars, the Oh My Disney kind of thing, the Marvel characters. I mean, I didn't know the Marvel characters were going to be in there.
That was crazy. The Stormtroopers, and I know they're not Marvel.
I know, but Iron Man walking around. And by the way, cameo right here, Stan Lee is in this thing. Before we go any further, we should just say, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, you need to stop right here and not watch any further because we're going to delve right into everything. Spoilers, everything. Even though I think pretty much everyone knows the plot of how this is technically going to go, but if you want to don't want to know details, probably should stop right here.
That's
right now. So when I ask you Ralph Breaks the Internet, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Well, that's Ralph and Vanellope go to the internet and they break it.
Thank you for that excellent analysis there.
You asked what's the first thing that comes to my mind, so Ralph and Vanellope, they go to the internet because Vanellope von Schweetz, that's such a weird name, her game gets broken because she said after 6 years she's a little tired of her game. It's a little predictable and boring.
That's a what? It was 6 years.
Isn't that crazy? So Ralph is a good friend and he decides to make her a new track. Well, to make the new track, she had to go rogue from the little kid that's playing the racing game.
Right.
And it breaks the game. So the whole steering wheel breaks. Well, the game's old. Basically, they can't get the part. There's only one of them on eBay. Yeah. And they have to go into the internet to get the part.
So that's pretty much the premise of the whole plot there, is that they're going to fix her game, but while they're there, they kind of have some differences. And
because if they don't fix the game, Mr. So-and-so, whatever his name is.
Mr. starts with an L. Was it Litnicky? Litnicky, that's what it was.
That's not right.
I think it's Litnicky. Anyway, very strange.
Okay, well. Anyway, Mr. L is going to unplug the game forever.
Yes.
And scrap it for parts.
And so they don't have a home. They wouldn't have a home at that point.
Yeah, and everybody freaks out that they're homeless.
And it's pretty funny, too, because they're trying to find homes for all of the characters, especially the Sugar Rush characters, which are prima donnas, all of them. And so Calhoun and Fix It Felix, who are now married for 6 years, have decided they want to be parents, and that's what they take on as
they adopt 15 prima donnas.
Which, by the end of it, they're not prima donnas anymore. They're well-adjusted kids, and they tried to share the whole, advice for parenting, which, conveniently they kept rushing by and drowning them out. So all the parents were sitting there like, no, I want to know what's going on. But yeah, just for the overall general plot, they go to look for this part to save the Sugar Rush game.
Yes.
And they kind of have some differences in the middle of all this where Vanellope wants to go be her own person, kind of experience new things because she's young, she wants to see the world, and Ralph is just a homebody. So I feel like personally, this movie reflects you and me so much. You'd rather travel around and do some things, and I'd rather just stay in one place and not leave ever.
That's fair.
I mean, that's just how I feel about it because I definitely relate to Ralph, the lovable goon.
I mean, I'm definitely a homebody too.
You are, but you are quirky and spunky like Vanellope.
That's true. That's true. I do like to experience all my options before choosing to be a homebody.
So you're saying I'm just stuck in my ways?
No, not at all. I think there's good and bad. I love Ralph, so I think there are definite, advantages to staying where you are. Vanellope would have been safe, everything. But no, Vanellope decides that she's going to go rogue and just decide to seek out other opportunities, So to get the steering wheel, that's the word I'm looking for. They go to eBay, they bid they bid up this steering wheel, and it's like $27,000 now. They go to pay for it and realize they have no money, and they thought they could just get it for free.
Well, it was only $27,000 because
Ralph was an idiot.
These two arcade characters don't understand what the internet's all about, and they just make it even worse for themselves.
Yes.
I mean, it was both their faults because they both were like, 27,001.
Let's say the biggest number we can think of. So then they realize they have no money, and they have 24 hours to pay for this thing. Otherwise, the game gets shut down.
Right.
So in order to do that, they have to go and they find the little pop-up ads, and they're like, well, we can do a pop-up ad and get money, you know, if we can get people, if we can find these little things. So in one of the pop-up ads, it was that they had to go to another game and steal the car.
Yep.
Which you were saying the game was like...
So, Slaughter Race, and this is where a lot of the, you know, funny elements come in. Because take a step back, too, talking about the way they depicted the internet as a whole and the world of, like, online gaming, online shopping was just hilarious. I mean, they've got name dropping everywhere. You know, you've got...
Amazon, eBay, Facebook, Twitter.
You know, the way, you know, they indicated that they're saying, hey, this is Twitter without saying it's Twitter, because I imagine some of those companies didn't want to give up their names without a certain price.
That's fair.
But they found ways to say, hey, this is Twitter over here with the little birds.
They're the little blue birds.
And how I thought it was really unique how they made it all function. Like if you were actually able to step inside the internet and see how it works in their time.
Yeah.
Personally, I believed it, that this is how it works, you know?
Yes, baby. That's how the internet works.
I know it doesn't, but just go with me here, okay? Just a little bit.
Okay.
Yes. But so they go to Slaughter Race, which is a play off of Fast and the Furious. And what is that game? Oh, Grand Theft Auto. So a very mature game, but they obviously dumbed it down for family audience. But they obviously were evoking that. Yeah. They meet Shank. They need her vehicle to pay for this item. But,
yeah, so if they steal her car, they get like $40,000. Right.
But the big issue there is that Shank and her friends and their world kind of start pulling Vanellope into that lifestyle she wants of experiencing new and exciting things.
Yeah, they're telling her, you know, come on, you can do something different with your life. You can be your own person.
Like I'm also at that point too. It's like, yeah, I get that you want new things, but do you want this? There's a shark coming out of the sewer for crying out loud. Right.
That was weird.
Was that a play off Sharknado?
Probably, actually.
At some point. I don't know. It was really weird. But Gal Gadot, you didn't know who that was.
Well, no, I didn't, but I know who. She's the person that voices Shank.
Yes. I thought we'd see a little bit more of Shank in this one, and she'd have a more integral part, but she really was just a plot device. And I guess, you know what, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's what made this movie good for me, is because they used the other characters to focus on the main two. That's fair. It never felt like Vanellope or Ralph were lost in all the other new things that could happen. It was all about their relationship and the problems that come with someone trying to hang on to the past, so to speak, and trying to keep things the same and not allowing someone to grow.
That's fair, because so then once Vanellope kind of decided that she wants to stay back in Slaughter Race, Ralph was really upset and tried to talk her out of it, and she wasn't listening, so he decides that he's going to put a virus in the game. Mm-hmm. So he goes to some really sketchy character and, you know, gets this virus.
The dark web.
Yes.
The Gourd, or whatever his name.
They called it the dark net.
The dark net, yes.
Which was interesting.
Yes.
But so they go and they get this virus, and unfortunately, of course, the virus goes everywhere. It's not just for the game. So
saw that one coming.
I mean, right. So like it almost shuts down. It shuts down the whole game. Like it takes them out. They almost die.
Well, what's cool is I thought it's looking for insecurities, and what you think is obviously it like plays off of Vanellope's glitch thing and causes a glitch in Slaughter Race, but then it picks up on the legitimate and real insecurity of Ralph and says, I have to have this girl because she's the only one who's ever accepted me as I am and as a hero. And so that's where the tension arises. You know, she wants to break away from Ralph, but he doesn't want to let her. And then all of a sudden, the virus finds that insecurity and replicates a bunch of Ralphs.
Yeah. And they're all just as insecure.
And how cool is that? Now, again, I'm thinking of all this stuff as we're talking here, that the first movie is all about Ralph not being the bad guy.
And now he is the bad guy.
And then he ultimately, not really him, but his mentality, his not being willing to let go becomes the ultimate villain. And I think that's a great way to tell the story there because it's very cyclical. And it's just like, you know, even as much as you try to not be the villain, if you're not careful, if you let things get out of hand, and I think that's the broader message in here with the internet. It's great, it's wonderful, but it can get really out of hand.
Very quickly.
What did you think about the messages they were trying to, other than the friendship relationship, but the messages about how awful the internet can be sometimes. Do you think they got that went over well?
I'm not really a symbolism kind of person, so
with the whole comment
I didn't
section.
catch any of those. So.
Remember when Ralph went into the comment section and finally saw, oh, hey, they like me.
Oh, yeah.
No, they
so
don't.
Ralph read all these comments about his videos, about how he was trying to make money, and it just kind of hit him that not everybody likes me. And, but that is true. That's a great message to people that not everybody's going to like you, and who cares?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, if you're a nice person, if you're kind and you're respectful, oh well, people aren't going to like you, and that's okay. Do good for others and good will come to you.
And that's the other thing too here. We do this YouTube channel and we understand that some of you guys don't like us. You leave mean comments sometimes. Some of you
That's
do.
your prerogative, and that's totally fair.
But
People are going to have different opinions.
I think it's
Same for Ralph.
It's a good thing in the internet age to remind people, it's like, hey, this stuff is great. There's a bad side to it too. And if you make this your life, especially like Ralph made one thing his whole life, it can get out of hand and ruin the one thing that was you think your whole life in the end.
Positive thing. Yeah.
So that ending though for Wreck-It Ralph kind of tugs at the heartstrings a little bit.
A little bit. I think you cried a little.
I don't know. I did not cry. I had the feels again, but I did not cry. We went on that podcast last week and you threw me under the bus 1,000 times saying I cried every movie. I've only cried in one movie ever. And that's not a Disney movie. So
it's true.
It's not truth. But in all seriousness though, they find a way to make a relationship not be a romantic one and still tug at the heartstrings about it.
And that's why I love this movie, because it has nothing to do with dead parents or relationship, like loving relationships.
Can video games have parents?
I don't know. I don't know how they get there.
That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Like, Disney movies are always about falling in love or dead parents. So this movie had neither of them, and I loved it. It was truly friendship.
Yeah.
That was it. And it proved that men and women can be friends.
Yeah. Well, and plus there's a difference in age there too. So
it's like brother-sister relationship.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of cool.
It goes a little bit beyond the brother and sister relationship, I feel like, but it's still that same dynamic. It explores it and it shows you the different complexities of it, of how you can be friends, but at the same time, how there can still be struggles there. But the important thing is that you guys stay friends no matter the distance, circumstances, time, all that kind of stuff.
And at the end of the day, Ralph realized what would make Vanellope happy.
Yeah.
And he accepted it. It wasn't what he would have chosen, but he accepted it.
It got me just a little bit right here. Just right here in the feels, man. The ending of the movie is just that. They part ways. She goes off to the different game on the internet. He stays back in the arcade. So they both kind of get what they want, but are still able to visit each other when they can and interact with each other via the internet now. So it's a happy ending. That is not the ending we're going to talk about, though. How about those post-credit scenes, which you just love to talk about?
So, first of all, I hate post-credit scenes. That's no shock. Literally, while we were waiting for the post-credit scene, I said, do you remember that little game that the little girl was playing in the car that wasn't in the movie?
In the trailer, yep.
There it was. They trolled us, and it was in the post-credit scene.
But it was worth the wait again, wasn't it?
No, because I'd already seen it.
But it was funny still.
Not worth the wait. But then, the thing that definitely was not worth the wait.
She's not bitter at all.
Was the Frozen 2 thing.
So they trick you at the very end post-credit scene that they're going to do a Frozen 2 trailer, and then it's the classic internet thing.
The Rickroll.
Being Rickrolled, and it's Wreck-It Ralph singing. So that it was pretty, like, if that's what it had to be in Wreck-It Ralph singing it, that was pretty funny.
That was it.
For those who had no clue that was coming, I'm sure that was like the most, I cannot believe this.
That's exactly how I felt. Exactly how I felt. And literally, we were the only people left in the theater. All 500 other people had gone, were in their cars, were probably already home because the credits were so stinking long.
Before Jessica gets any more mad about the post-credit scene, let's figure out how we're going to rate this movie. You got any ideas?
No.
How about, what was he?
Race cars?
No, so boring. How about, was it eBay Boys? Is that what he called it? E-Boys? He called them E-Boys, no?
No, that just sounds
Viruses?
wrong.
That sounds bad.
No.
Let's got to think of something here. What do you think?
A mouse? Like a clicking mouse? Like your computer mouse?
How about cursors? Cursors
okay.
For the internet. So how many cursors
out of 5?
Out of 5 would you give? I almost want to say it again. Ralph Breaks the Internet.
I give it 3.
3? That's it?
It's not my favorite. It was a solid 3. I'd see it again. Have no problem seeing it again. But it wasn't anything spectacular. It was about on the same level of Cars 3.
So I push when I have the urge to watch something again, especially in theaters. I'm not saying I'm going to, but I have the urge to because of how visually spectacular this movie was with everything to see in the internet hub. I kind of want to see it again, so I'm putting that a 4. Not a perfect movie. Kept my attention the entire time, and there are things that I would love to see again in theater, so that's why it gets a 4 from me. You got to work real hard to get a 5 from me.
It's fair.
I'm not. I guess I am a pretty easy grader, but anyway. So those are our grades for Ralph Breaks the Internet. We'd love to hear from you in the comment section below what you thought about the movie. Let us know down there below. What else should I do?
If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and you can find us on Facebook and Twitter.
That's all we have for you in this edition of I2I, but until we assemble again,
may the force be with you.
And we'll see you real soon.
Bye.
It's my nervous
They're like evil.
It's my nervous Nelly. That's all we have for you. You look pretty interesting there with your... What are you doing? Are you mocking me?